I'm Lonnie Niewohner with Scribner Insurance, and I got Shawn Wattier here from with RCIS, one of the companies we represent. The producers, the farmers, got a lot of stuff that's going on between cattle and crops and ground and with all the flooding and stuff that just happened over this last month. They got a lot of decisions to be made here really quick, actually. Some great information from the guys that presented before. We're here to kind of talk about some of the implications on crop insurance. And nobody likes crop insurance or insurance in general, but we're going to kind of give you some real basic things to consider when it comes to crop insurance. As you know, the federal crop insurance is governed by the government, so they're pretty stringent as far as the rules we must follow, the timelines and dates and that sort of stuff. So with that, on front of you, we got a little green postcard out there. There's some dates that are on there. Some of the dates that come into play when it comes to preventive planning basically are the final plant dates and the late plant period. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit here in a little bit, but I'm going to have Shawn kind of discuss a little bit about the preventive plant and how it works, and then together we'll kind of work through this. And if there's any questions as we go, please ask as we move forward so we can kind of get them answered for you.
That'd be easier for you. The main thing, guys, on preventive plant on corn, it pays you 55% of your guaranteed bushels. So it's not a very good deal on corn. And it pays 60% of your guaranteed bushels on your soybeans. So whatever let's say you have a 200 bushel APH and you buy the 75% level, that means you have 150 bushel guarantee on there. So if you end up claiming preventive plant on there, you're only going to, on your corn, you're only going to get 55% of the guarantee of that 150 bushels. So if it's iffy on you getting the crop in or out, it's always been better for you to go ahead and try and mud that crop in, because then you're eligible to get 100% of your guarantee on there. So and the paperwork involved in the preventive plant, it's going to be frustrating for you. Just trust me on that. It's just the way the government's got it set up and set the program up. But if there's any chance that you could get your crop in, for your sake as a producer, it's always beneficial for you, because if it fails, or let's say your corn only does 20 bushels or 30 bushels, you'll have those 30 bushels of corn, plus they're going to send you a check for the difference up to 150 bushels versus getting 55% of that 150 bushels on there. And the other thing to remember is you can't file a preventive plant claim until the date. What was that? The final plant date?
Final plant date. 72 hours after the final plant.
Yeah, and you only have 72 hours to file a claim. So once you get to that point, then you figure out you cannot get it planted. Then we got to get that claim turned in, and you only have 72 hours to turn it in. So it's a very tight schedule. And the biggest thing is keep in contact with whoever your agent is. It doesn't matter. Keep in contact with them and tell them what's going on so they can look at it. And once we hit that, we got to go out and document that. It's got to be common to the area. We got to have pictures. We got to have all kinds of stuff documented for it. But the biggest thing is, if you can't, another thing someone has asked is, can we go out and broadcast seed in and then harrow it in? No, it has to be mechanically planned. So that means a drill. You could go in and drill beans and just get those beans in there at least and bounce it over the field, and then that's going to be mechanically planted. But you cannot broadcast and then till it in. That's been determined already.
Prevent plant covers everything basically from Mother Nature, more or less. One of the things that it does cover, that it also covers, is if you cannot get to the field. If you've got some roads that are impassable or some fields that you cannot get into, that is a covered peril, if you will, for the prevent plant, which there's potentially going to be quite a few out there. Another thing is, if you collect on the prevent plant portion of your crop insurance, you can go in there with a cover crop, and you cannot hay or graze that cover crop until November 1st. You can't harvest it for seed. You cannot hay or graze it until November 1st, which, It doesn't really help you much what's going on now in the interim stuff. But if you try to harvest it or whatever, it'll cut your prevent plant payment down.
You mechanically harvest, but that you can, if you wait till November 1st, go in and hay it, and then you'll be eligible for your full replant, that prevented plant payment. So that that's a pretty good scenario. Looking at if you're a cattle guy, you're going to need feed, and that field is not going to allow you to get in there. You can go ahead and plant that cover crop, get as many tons out there as you can, and then after November 1st, go in and either graze it or hay it. Which is people have used that scenario quite a few times up in South Dakota, North Dakota. Just in Nebraska, we haven't been in that situation before. But that is a very good option, and then you get that full 55 on your corn and 60 on your beans. And then what hay prices are going to be, might be even just for Sudan hay, it could be 70, 75 bucks a ton. I think right now it's bringing that much right now. Is there anything else you want? Anybody got any questions?
Yes.
When do you get paid on this? When do you collect your preventive plant payment?
In the fall, it's all.
I thought it was right after. I played this game a couple of times, and I thought it was right after when you said you couldn't do it. July. About July
5th. Well, July 5th is the last soybeans last.
As soon as that's done, you can't plant. I thought you got paid immediately.
Well, but if they don't pay immediately because they could penalize you if you harvest it.
Yeah.
Because they'll reduce your payment if you harvest it.
Always paid for, like I said, July. I know that.
Well, we can check on that.
Oh yeah. Next,
every scenario is different. That's something I'm going to tell you right now.
When you go into the 20th or 10th of July, plant soybeans.
You can do that if you want to.
You can't get them covered.
You're right. You have to take them as uninsured. Correct.
But you can harvest them. You have to make it November 1st on them too.
No. If you go into the second crop, if they allow you to go in and plant soybeans after the final date, and you take them uninsured,
okay,
you can harvest them just as the rest. You got to keep track of your production, but you can take that grain unprotected, if you will, on the crop insurance side.
What is it like if I go in first of July again and plant after?
Sure, right.
And plant forage, so can I chop that in September?
Now, if it's not in collect your whole.
But I can plant soybeans and collect my whole.
That we've got to ask.
You mean you're talking as far as your production off the field is what you're saying?
Right.
Yes. On forage sorghum, I have to check on the forage sorghum. I don't know.
I chopped a lot of forage sorghum in September. I'm planting.
What's that?
Sure.
You can't harvest beans. You can't harvest beans. You cannot do that.
Not to collect. You're not asking to collect preventive planting and harvest
Yeah, you
soybeans.
are.
Oh, I understood that wrong. I'm sorry.
No, I
understand.
thought you could go in and do it unguaranteed and harvest it.
Then you'll have that reduced preventive plant payment.
Then,
That's why
yeah, your prevent plant will be reduced
to 35%.
to 35% of the 60% coverage
You get a reduced cut. You can do that, but you get a reduced
payment.
preventive plant.
Correct.
And on that, you said corn is 55, beans is 60.
Yep.
Could you buy an extra 5?
If you did buy up,
You buy the 15th. By the 15th. Yep.
You had to do that by the 15th, and then they also had a date if you bought it, if you signed your app once the flooding started, RMA is refusing them. So,
Really?
so that was that Wednesday before
It's the 13th.
If you signed your application that day or later, they're turning down the buyout.
Like going back to the silage you put up forage sorghum again. How did you say that? I thought I chopped it a couple times.
You can't, if it's a cover crop to get your full 55,
To get your full prevent plant payment.
you gotta wait till November 1st.
And if you don't want to, is it reduced?
Then you reduce.
Then it's reduced to 35.
November 1st to chop it or mail it.
Then you get the full.
Then you get the full. Yes. Yes.
Or 60, whatever it is being.
Corners. Yeah.
But if you're gonna go early, you're gonna get it reduced. And then I'm gonna caveat all of this with every situation is different.
It's farmer specific.
And everything we told you could be full of garbage. So that's why you gotta work with your adjuster, because every situation is gonna be goofy.
2020.
Oh, yeah, 2020.
Thanks, Scott. In order to qualify for a prevent plant, you must have 20% or 20 acres of that unit or the field to qualify. 20% or 20 acres, whichever's less, whichever qualifies at the first. That's where it picks up.
And the still the best case scenario, if there's any possible way to get in and plan it, to get your full guarantee in, is the best case for the farmer. Because then, you know, even if it fails, at least you'll get 100% of your guarantee. And so, but there's some field that's just not possible. It's not gonna
I
happen.
talked to my dozer, man.
Yeah. I mean, I said,
yeah, we'll see it sometime in the winter.
yeah, it's just not gonna be possible in some areas, but there's gonna be all those marginal fields that are wet, and you might get one day where you could possibly get in there. And if it is, I'd say go for it. But then the next day it could rain and you're never gonna get in there.
Just go put seed in the drill.
I didn't know. But as long as we can't get planted, that's the big, just don't broadcast.
You can't try that.
No.
Question, if you were really short of hay or pasture, is there any reason you couldn't switch crops and just, instead of planting forage soybeans here in 2 weeks, plant a forage crop already?
And not insured, yep.
And not insured, yes.
And then you won't get a preventive plant. You can always just do that.
You want to
yourself.
insure it.
But you could, there is small, like, you could buy a little hail on it or something like that too. You could buy a small grain. But that is a definite option if you need it. You save your money on your crop insurance because it won't be insured. But you'll be planting like a forage sorghum and go out and start grazing it right away anyway. As soon as it's up, and no sense, and you can do that.
Do you know if the calf, FSA calf, I think that's, they have insurance kind of non-insured.
Yeah.
Would that work on these annual forages?
There's no way to
I don't
justify the tonnage. You have to have production.
Okay.
Yeah, that's,
You have to have production. And that's where all your other federal crop policies get paid. You got to have production. You have to pay it through production. If it's a grazing situation, you're just going to be kind of on your own. There's not really any. So there is a rainfall index you can buy. Forage is PRF, pasture inland forage production, which is based on a rain. So you could plant forage sorghum, and then if you don't get rain, then they pay you. It's based off of the rainfall. So there is some. What's that? That was the PRF, but there's annual forage. There's annual forage that you can still sign up for. Annual forage coverage, which is based off a rainfall index. That would be a huge viable option for the guy that wants to do that, because you can't get federal crop on it, but you get federal crop annual forage coverage. And then it covers anything. It can be wheat, oats. It can be even corn that they're grazing. So if they're going to go out and grow field corn out there and graze it, and silage and sorghum and millet, whatever. It's just an annual forage federal crop program. We should have Scott up here. He's hiding back there.
I made him do the hail meeting 4.5 years ago.
spread the world. Yeah. Any other questions?
Good question.
Kind of short and to the point, but yeah, very good questions. It'll be a lot, and you'll have a lot more questions coming up as you go through this, because it's not just cut and dried and black and white. It changed all the time.
But like your idea of planting corn, beans, uninsured afterwards, economically that might be the best project. You just take less of a preventive plant payment. But if you can grow 30 some bushels, 40 bushels of beans, and you think that'll work, that might make all sense.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for all of our speakers. I appreciate them coming. Just some other things, all the resources here, both the PowerPoint, the recording. If you go to croptechcafe.org, the second post down has the PowerPoints from the day and the recording. So again, that's croptechcafe.org. And that's our local agronomy blog that covers kind of an 8-county area. So that's where all the handouts, if someone wasn't here, the recording, the Q&A, back and forth, to pick that all up. So that's where that will be posted for anybody as a resource. The other thing coming up, I have been working with a lot of people on wheat. So I know of several of us, including myself, that don't have livestock. Another farmer in Dodge County, I even had a farmer from Cass County call me this morning and said he's got 180 acres of triticale that he's looking at for a hay crop, forage crop, as well as a cover crop after. So if that's something you're interested in, learning who those growers are and setting up possibly working with them to have a forage crop after their wheat or small grain, let me know, and I'll try to set that, make that up. I only have 8.5 acres, so I know one farmer by Scribner was interested already, even though that won't last long, but it's something, right? So there's some opportunities like that. There's some people growing cereal rye for seed in Dodge County too. That might be an option after the cereal rye seed comes off, just like we harvest. So thanks for coming. Grab something to drink for the road. If you have any questions, feel free to follow up. I have connections with everybody that talked today, and again, ask for help. That's why we're here. So thanks for coming.